the title of MLG Summer Arena Champions. Can TSM push it to a third game? D-Man seems to think they're going to take this 2-1, but we have the players in the game.
I had Azubu down as initially in the predictions, to be fair, in my defense, but I just thought TSM may have something in their locker, but I don't know. This is a very risky tactic. Like you said, it is literally a go big or go home. The question is, how will they go with the early invade? You know, we've seen TSM invading, we've seen Azubu Blaze invading. Level 1 fights can turn games very, very quickly, which we already saw with Team Black, and it's just been a tragedy if they did it wrong. And as it is at the moment, we are moving into the game, and Azubu Blaze are slowly but surely coming into it. And you can see them setting up.
So we'll see. I wonder if we're going to have this invasion. You know, we've seen it in the last game. Azubu were moving very, very aggressively and moving around. You see them moving as a 5-man team. But look at the positioning for Team Solo Mid. They're currently grouped up around that blue buff area. And we see Reaper is going to be leading the charge. And counter invasion from Team Solo Mid?
Yeah, counter invasion. You can see Azubu in and around the blue. Oh, they're going to run into each other. They're going to be spotted as soon as they come out of there. Ooh, let's have a look at the vision. Yeah, they would have spotted them coming out there. So TSM, I think, will certainly have seen them. And let's have a look. TSM going for that red buff. We're only at 118, so the buff's not going to be up for another 30 seconds, Trevor. And now it looks like Azubu are going to go back to their own blue buff. So still, they're not going to meet.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, a little bit of an interesting rotation. You consider Azubu, they've pretty much just gone a waltz around the map, moved all the way up, and this is cheeky from Team Solo Mid. They're hiding in that little cross bush, and if Reaper decides to go through the jungle, he may be in trouble. He has, of course, recalled this time round. They're just going to steal these wraiths away, probably steal the the red buff as well, and then just fall back to their respective lanes. But nothing really coming from quite a lot of aggression. Both teams moving all the way around the map. It's just not leading to any, not finding anybody out to pick up any kills.
Indeed, so no first bloods, no early invade. Well, there was an early invade, but invading each other. Is the odd one going to use Smite here? Is he going to save it? Let's see what he does. And he is going to use it, so red buff gone down. I guess they're going to rotate round to the blue, and again, here we see Ash and X-Special on that top lane. X-Special's going to try and zone out Reaper as much as possible, uses that 100% crit, saves it, does get a really good land on Reaper there. The Howling Gale managed to come across as well. And, well, now they're just going to try and zone out Reaper as much as possible. They're doing exactly the same down the bottom lane there. They're going to try and dive it towards Dyrus. It's a 3-man dive. Can they get the level 1 dive? No, they cannot. And Dyrus just about surviving as they miss the first blood. Wow, that's just what you get for happening. I can't believe I missed the first blood.
Yep, unfortunately, Mr. D-Man on the camera for this game. On the camera, but first blood. Compliments of a very, very nice gank there in the middle lane. This is something that we've seen Curse trying to do a little bit earlier. You know, camping up that top lane, they set up a very, very nice first blood. Oh. But unfortunately, Azubu weren't able to counter that or do the same.
Yeah, Helios there, taking away the red buff there. And the odd one was just above that, would be unaware of what was happening. He does know that they were going to be all down that bottom. And now Dyrus is going to be careful because he's going to have, unless they're coming around the backside of him, Lustboy will get around there, won't have his combo available yet. It's still only level 1, so the head for Pulverize is not there just at the moment. Let's have a look towards that top lane. And Reaper, at the moment, Unchaox, just managing to do that work. And this is really what it's going to be all about. How much damage can they do to the tower? Surely the Ash will do a lot more damage than Captain Jack on Urgot to the turrets.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get a lot more DPS out, of course, a lot faster on those auto attacks. And look how much pressure Dyrus is already taking in the middle lane. Nocturne's coming up behind Rise. We've got to be careful for this little gank. Duskbringer doesn't go out. The gold card lands. The Fear proc is actually going to throw Ambition towards them. Now we see a flash into the Twisted Advance. Reginald's the man that's in trouble. That red buff is ticking away. He is going to go down. Odd One is trying to take out Ambition. Can he pick up this kill? Chasing him with the Duskbringer. The movement speed, the red buff. One more Umbra Blades is all it's needed, but it's not enough. Twisted Advance comes off cooldown, and Helios lands in the face of the Odd One.
Indeed, and I see what you tried to do there. I see what you tried to do there. A slight faux pas by me earlier on in the tournament, but Chaos at the moment, they're keeping that lane frozen very nicely against Reaper there, and you can see actually the slow there. Really nice use of mechanics there by Reaper, just dashing around, using X Special actually to escape this one. Meanwhile, down this bottom lane, you can see Dyrus is doing a fantastic job of keeping them off the turret. The damage is not going on the turret, it's going on to Dyrus instead. And again, Reaper, though, is not being able to do quite as much. And you can see the damage on the top turret there. Reaper's going to get slowed down. The shield goes on him. That's going to put a lot more AD damage down. And Reaper's going to get worked away. And he's having to use them health pots. He's having to chomp his way through them. Dyrus has bought himself time to go back. And he's going to come back to that turret. Doesn't want to use the teleport to get back there either. He's going to run back in. So having to use the items. Meanwhile, you can see the Reaper's had to leave this top turret. Now Chaos and the next special need to push. And you can see the teleport actually coming straight in. Helios is going to come back in there. They need to be careful they don't get jumped straight on. It is Chaos they're going to go for. Twisted Advance goes in, manages to get the knock up as well. Chaos so it should surely survive this one. X Special is going to continue on though. Needs to drop that Howling Gale. Chaos is surely going to get taken down. There's one more shot. Is all he needs. They're going to dive on the turret. It is going to be down there. The question is, can the odd one pick up the kill? He's going to go onto a Reaper. Reaper's going to try and flash away. The fear goes down on him. Whoa, just one stun. Just one more hit. Uses the turret, the ward to try and get the vision of it. He will finish him off. He wants to really get Helios as well, but he could see that also Ambition and Reginald were coming up to join that fight. It could have been a huge one, but as it is, it's 3-2, and Dyrus is holding his own on that bottom turret. Very well.
How is he actually doing in terms of CS? 16-14. So, you know, lane for lane, Dyrus versus Reaper, they're pretty much bang on even. In terms of our mid laners, Rise and against Twisted Fate, 24-22. So that's also even. And our carries 33-36. So every single lane is effectively bang on even. There's absolutely nothing to separate these teams. 3 kills to 2, 100 gold difference. Even with that first blood, that's only, you know, that's the only thing that's really separating these players right now. Captain Jack and Lost Boy, they're setting up in this top lane. If they can catch X Special, they may be able to put a bit of a hurting down. But some very, very good ganks. If you look up in the top lane there, X Special eats those Acid Hunters to the face. 1, 2, 3. And just that single, you know, combination of abilities drops into about half health.
Yeah, that's going to cause him problems. Now Dyrus is switching here. You see that Ash has gone down the bottom. So Chaos is now on that bottom lane. They've done enough damage to the turret. They didn't feel they could keep pushing it though. We've got Maokai coming around the side. The Wraiths are not there. It's just going to ward it up. And Dyrus now switching around against Captain Jack and Lustboy on that top lane. So reacting to Azubu's switch more than anything, because they realize that, okay, Aurelia's going to be on the bomb, so we're going to 2v1 the bottom lane, and we think that Dyrus is doing a fantastic job at holding them off there. You can see the lock-on comes on, the Acid Hunter continuing on. Dyrus using his ulti there to go for this one. He's got Twisted Face coming in close by. There he does, gets the stun card down. It's actually Lost Boy they're going for, aka Lustboy at the moment, and he will pick up the kill. Surely it will be Reginald that takes it down, and actually, you know, the odd one was sat there. He didn't use his paranoia, didn't bother coming in, hadn't got, actually, I'd tell a lie, he's only level 5, so he didn't have it to go in there. So he was just a little bit too late on the experience to be able to join that fight. But luckily, it wasn't needed. And
these next few minutes of the game are going to be so crucial, because they're going to get to the point where Chaos is going to get his ultimate very short. Look at the damage that Reaper's putting down, and some Transcendent Blades going out. If he had Ignite, that would have been a dead Chaos, but he has opted to run with the teleport this time round. But that's a lot of damage onto Chaos. And once Paranoia has been picked up and Chaos picks up that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they're going to need to successfully pull off these ganks, because if they don't, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. The tankiness, the damage, the survivability that Azubu has on their side is definitely going to play into their favor. And, of course, they have sustainability. Lost Boy's going to be able to use that Triumphant Roar, keep healing everybody up in the lane, and keep them alive and well if they're going to play a bit of a poke game.
Poke game indeed. Dyrus doing a fantastic job of keeping these away at the top here. Considering Singe, you know, would have been weaker early on, he's doing a fantastic job. And the fact that Captain Jack, though, is getting free farm could be a danger. 65 CS to 52 compared to the AD, two AD carries. Meanwhile, mid lane, if we look, we're just seeing Reginald, he needs to be careful he doesn't go too aggressive here. He's got the ward down in that bush, so he's going to see that Alistair's sat there waiting for him. And the ping goes down, Reginald's stun cut goes off, and Dyrus was trying to interrupt. I just caught a glimpse of him. He was teleporting away, I think it was Urgot. And yeah, and there you go, the pings go down. Urgot's now going to go move back to the bottom lane, so I expect to see Chaos and Dyrus having another lane switch in a moment. As it is, you can see Alistair making the move down south. The ping goes down on his head. Ambition was going down as well. So as it is, TSM are just keeping one step ahead of Azubu Blaze here in terms of lane switching. They're keeping the priority down. Where's the arrow going? He's going towards the middle there. Ambition stepped away from that one. Stunkart goes down. Dyrus is going to get the fling. Manages to throw straight back there. The Ignite actually used on towards Reginald. Reginald got the Twisted Advance, and Reginald will go down, I think, in this fight. And Dyrus, can he finish off? No! This is going to be a tragedy. And he's going to get, the odd one dives in there. Dyrus actually did pick up the kill. The odd one now, meanwhile, could get taken down by Helios. Helios has got to be careful. He's got the Oracle. He's going to go for it. The odd one, he's not going to fight this one, though. He's got no help coming coming towards him. He's going to try and get away from it. The flash comes out. The Odd Ones goes down. Helios playing brilliantly there. And again, just as before, the damage, the aggression from Team Solar Mid backfires on them horribly.
That's Helios with Boots of Mobility and a Philosopher's Stone, rocking out 5-0-1 on the scoreboard. He's been involved in every single kill that Azubu has put together, and he's cleaning house. Maokai is not normally known as a jungler that deals a lot of damage, but Helios, he's proving everybody wrong right now. Kill steal, kill secure, whatever you want to say about it. Azubu in the lead, 1,000 gold, 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. This is what the problem was. The first game for Azubu, he wasn't actually be able to get into it, so he had that slightly slower lane phase at the start that TSM had. But now the whole advantage that TSM had built, the whole big advantage that Ash had been working towards, just backfired. If the Ash Arrow had landed, which was an incredibly hard skill because it was going to be going up the entire river distance, then it would have been fantastic and would have probably secured that kill a lot earlier. As it was, they went a little too deep and they just could not land it.
And if Reginald had taken half a second, if he'd stalled for half a second to a second before engaging, he actually pushed Ambition back. It was him running forward to that gold card that forced Ambition on the back foot, that forced him to run backwards. If that had been half a second later, he would have run square into that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, been locked up, been rune prisoned, been paranoid. But, you know, unfortunately, it was just not the case. And, of course, that's something else to note. Nocturne was a little bit too far away. They waited for the battle to finish.
Yeah, I think they're just going to trade this one. I think they realized that the Dragon has been taken, so they're just going to take that top turret. Dragon being picked up by Azubu Blaze here. I think Dyrus would have reported that they, mid lane have definitely gone for this one. So they do trade a simple turret for a Dragon. Honestly, in them sort of exchanges, I always preferred the Dragon. The turret there. And Dyrus now is in trouble. Why has he got himself caught in this situation? I think he's got to realize that they weren't there.
And look at
Ambition. Where's he going? See, the question is, he's got his ulti. He's got the Ninja Tabby. He could be able to get away from this one. He's got a 4-man Azubu Blade going to close in and around. He's teleporting out. Where's he going to go to? Doesn't matter. He's just going to move the hell away from there. Is he going to go to a fight? No, he's going to go straight top and continue farming with that ulti. Brilliant play, Dyrus.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. Exactly how you're meant to play Singe. Take a look at that. No hands required, Mom. Sitting playing Dyrus, just right clicks, allows him to run away with that Insanity Potion. And, okay, fair enough, it cost the cooldown on that teleport, but tosses the minion back. All that Poison Trail is going to pick up the gold. He's not even really worried about Reapit. He's just going to run away. How's he actually doing CS-wise? 74 to the 71 of Reapit. Has got the Sorcerer's Shoes, sorry, the Ninja Tabite, GP10 on that Philosopher's Stone, and just the Ruby Crystal. So, you know, feeling a bit of the pressure, not having the Catalyst, the Protector yet or anything. As I say that, he does actually just pick it up. And take a look at that. Sony Xperia poll, 76% of the people feel that Team Solar Mid are going to be victorious. And only 24% in favor of
Bottom lane
Blaze.
is going to get invaded here. Helios is going to get spotted, though. He was charging down with his boots of mobility on, but that Oracle would say, yeah, we know, they realize there's wards all over this bottom lane. They were quite a long way up there, Carrick especially. They wanted to push on that turret. Now they've realized that they have a 3-man team down this bottom lane. They're going to maybe require help. Expect to see Twisted Fate possibly going to come in and help out. If required, he's going to try and stay and farm as long as possible. And now it's actually moved into a more traditional lane phase now.
Yeah, it is going to be slightly more standard, but I wonder if it's too late. You know, Azubu already have a 2,000 gold advantage. Admittedly, they don't have any towers yet, but this early game team composition, this ganking team composition that's been put together by Team Solar Mid is not necessarily paying off. Admittedly, though, TF, Singed, and Ash are just going to get better and better the longer the game goes.
Here we go, bottom lane. They're diving onto Captain Jack. If you manage to land the arrow, Old One's going to be able to get the fear off. Here comes Reginald as well. The fear turns him perfectly into the direction. Captain Jack is going to go taken down. One more kill towards Lost Boy. They've got to be careful, though, because he's just surviving. They've got to realize he's baiting them. The longer he stays there, still yet to go down. Doesn't manage to get the pulverize down. It's going to be Ambition coming in. TSM need to pick up many kills off the back of this one. Ambition surely going to go down. The volley shot comes across. He is still just alive in there. Odd One might be able to get one more hit on him, but he's going to back up to that turret. They need to be careful. Meanwhile, what happened is Dyrus and Helios are also exchanging blows, but I think TSM needed to possibly pick up a little bit more off that. They could have. They were in a 4-on-2 advantage.
They really should have. Rise got very, very low. Ambition actually did something that I think is very uncharacteristic of Azubu. He came into a fight versus 4 members. He committed solo. He did not wait for Reaper to join that fight, and we've seen from Azubu in many, many games, they will delay the aggression. They'll actually move back, allow some of their teammates to take some additional damage and commit as a unit. You know, Ambition came in from the river, Reaper came in from above. We do see Dyrus and Helios just bashing against one another. I think Helios has Smite available, so he should be able to steal this red buff if he times it correctly, and he does. He's going to be now waiting for Lost Boy to come back into the battle, but, you know, they did manage to get away from it safely, but a little bit of an uncharacteristic move and uncharacteristic play from what we've seen out of Blaze this weekend.
Yeah, so TSM realized they can't back off. They wanted to go home there. They wanted to go fight. They do still have a 4-man team down this bottom lane. They're going to try and camp out. Captain Jack and Reaper again. Here comes a stun card from Reginald, not quite getting close enough, and they do back off straight away. But this is buying time for Dyrus in this top lane to continue on his farming session. He's doing a fantastic job. 114 CS, meanwhile to 100, so he's gaining that advantage. But Ambition is going to come in towards Dyrus. Dyrus should be able to walk away from that one, and he just strides off. Did use Ghost, so it's going to be a summoner spell used, but a summoner spell safe nevertheless.
I wonder if this itemization from Reginald is in comparison to what they've just done. Take a look at the farm, 86 to 111. So once again, we see Ambition out-farming their opponents. We also see that he's got a needlessly large rod and an amplifying tome. So, you know, neither of those are going to combine to complete a single item. I can only imagine he's maybe going to go for the reducing engagement in the middle lane, twisted advance, arcane smash. Now we see TF coming in. The crystal arrow actually lands onto Reaper. That's going to hold him in place for a small period of time. Helios and Reaper are now on the way out. They managed to pick up that kill onto Chaos and a very well-coordinated tower dive.
Yeah, meanwhile down that bottom lane, you can see Captain Jack continue to hammer on that turret. And now Azubu plays again. TSM just as they get that slight advantage, TSM do manage to pull themselves back into it. Azubu Blaze managed to pull themselves back into it, and they're going to pick up 2 turrets back to back here. So that's going to be Azubu Blaze really in the ascendancy. And actually, will they get the turret? They're going to have to tank it up. It's going to be on towards Ambition, I think. No, they're going to get it before the turret goes down. While that's all happening, though, Dyrus is continuing to free farm at the top there. He's just going to back straight off. Let's have a look around the items. And Trevor, I mean, this is the problem. So, okay. You can immediately see one of the problems. When you start going triple Dorans, you know, you're up against it. He has got that BF sword in there, though, but he's having to build that health up because Aurelia was jumping on him so heavily. Yep. Now, I remember this morning coming in with lunch. I think was it this morning? Or no, it was yesterday. It was yesterday we were sat having lunch, and Dyrus and the Odd One were discussing it. He was saying, Aurelia was jumping onto KX all the time. I wonder if this is going to the mindset. He's 0-2-2 now, and he's going to be upset. Maybe he's got that mindset and he's like, you're not protecting me enough.
Yeah, there's not enough beefiness, there's not enough CC in front of him. You know, 110 CS to 141 of his lane counterpart, even though Ashe is the more standardized carry, as it were. She just doesn't have the items that you normally see out of 17 minutes from, you know, a farmed up Ashe. One tower on their side. Dragon, I think, has gone to Azubu, and you actually see them setting up for Drake once again. So, you know, it's a lot of pressure. We do see a KG's lucky pick has been picked up by Reginald, so he's going to have that GP10 ticking over. He's also falling behind on farm, falling behind on CS. Singed is the only member of Team Solo Mid who is actually ahead of his lane counterpart. So, you know, got a slight advantage there, but with Dragon being picked up with a 3,000 gold lead and the fact that it's going to be very difficult to kill these champions, I'm a bit worried for TSM.
So am I. I am very worried for TSM. Every time they just get that small advantage, they manage to somehow lose it again. As it is at the moment, Dyrus is off flipping the Siege minion and not Reaper. I think he meant to go for it there. I'm not too sure which one he was going in for. Nocturne is around. They just pinged on towards Helios. Maybe they want to go for a gank here. I think they realise, obviously, Captain Jack's going to be visible down that bottom. Let's see if anything comes across. Or are they going to try and stack up on the turret? They've targeted the turret, so TSM want to take this turret. You can see Chaos is starting to make his move in there. You've got Dyrus just above. He manages to put the glue down on Helios, flicks him in. Here we go. Helios is diving on. He's got that Oracle and manages to flash away, puts his ulti down. The fear turns him beautifully in towards TSM. Does finally drop down. Now Lost Boy's got to be careful. He's going to have to back out of that one. And Bishop manages to turn around, put the damage down towards Dyrus. Reaper was thinking about coming involved in this one, actually backed off. Captain Jack is closing in around the summoner. So the Monsoon comes out from X Special, beautifully done. Lost Boy, oh, it's taken down so low, 39 hit points, and the Howling Gale just about whiffing past him, but they do have a stack to push in towards here. TSM could try and take the advantage. This is what I talked about. They get that advantage. They need to make sure they take it.
Yeah, they need to convert this into 1 or 2 towers. The goal difference is not huge at this point in time, but that was a very, very big play. It was set up by Dyrus beautifully, throwing out that Insanity Potion, catching Helios off guard, and also keep in mind, Helios was on a killing spree, 6, 1, and 1. So all of that bonus gold, actually 492 bonus gold, that was going to be split between numerous members of TSM. So that's going to help them out, give them that little extra chunk of change that they need to maybe pick up a couple more items and move themselves into a position where they can actually start to pick up some of these bigger engagement and these bigger fights. If TSM can put themselves in a good engagement, this may be trouble for the Odd One. The Crystal Arrow comes out, Destiny comes up. Now we see Reginald and the Odd One going toe-to-toe with Reaper. Reaper is going to land the Equilibrium Strike over onto Reginald, so that's going to hold him in place for a little bit. Now that Captain Jack has joined the party, Reginald's the man that's in trouble. Chaos is applying those Frost Arrows, trying to kite him, trying to slow him down. Reginald goes down in the meantime, but they do pick up a 2-for-1 exchange, so losing AP middle for picking up the solo top and the effective AD carry. It's a small victory for TSM, and when you're behind, you need to get all of these little bits, all of these little advantages you can to try to close that gap and actually give yourself a lead.
The problem is the kills are going, they're going to Reginald, which is not bad, but they do need some kills going to KX as well. KX has fell a long way behind. Frozen Heart already completed along with that Brutalizer for Urgot. Meanwhile, he has only got that BF sword. Gold terms, he's got only just 1,000, 1,100 on him, so he hasn't even got enough to complete. I would guess he's going to go for the Infinity Edge. You can see he's having to be given the farm from that jungle. Everything trying to help him out as much as possible. He's actually going to give X Special some of this farm in the mid lane instead and take the red buff. So X Special's quite happy to take some of that free farm if he can pick it up, which he does, of course. One of the top AP players. He's actually wins out against Reginald quite often in the mid, apparently, as a double AP, and also was winning out against Dyrus in the practice before. I think it was MLG Anaheim in that top lane stuff. So, he is a top player, knows his beans, knows his onions, I guess you could say. 21 minutes gone in this game, and TSM with a slight advantage, I guess we could say. Gold terms, they are behind, 2K, 9-8 up in gold. In fact, you know what? It's not an advantage at all.
No.
They're behind still.
Yeah. But
they have managed to start picking off Azubu, which is something that is a bit of a saving grace for the TSM fans out there. Dyrus is starting to get really strong. Rabadon's death caps can be completed by Twisted Fate. They have some good items this time around. And
Dyrus is going for a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. So Giant's Belt in hand, all that HP is definitely going to be helpful.
Full troll mode engaged.
I agree and I disagree. And the reason I say that, in terms of the CC, they've got a fair amount of it, but when they're on the back foot, they want to commit into a fight, they want to try blow somebody up, and if they're successful, Dyrus can run past everybody and keep them slowed. But more importantly, if they are not, if they're in a position where they need to back out of a team fight, the slow from that poison trail is going to be instrumental in buying them time to escape, in buying them the ability to, put the tail between the legs and leg it down the lanes.
And Dyrus being cautious there, realized that the position reverser is available. He knows he's strong, puts the glue down. Are we going to see the arrow come in? Yes, he does. It lands on Captain Jack. Can they get the Howling Gale through? Will they get the flip? Yes, they do. Captain Jack, the target now. Reginald comes around the side there, gets just about away. KX, meanwhile, has been able to get all the damage down on that turret. He is going to get dropped there, but Captain Jack goes down, but it's a double kill picked up for Azubu Blaze. And now, again, they're looking very strong. It's a 2-for-2 exchange, which worked out just about in their favor, but unfortunately for Azubu Blaze, for TSM, a 2-for-1, sorry. Unfortunately for TSM, it was the wrong people going down. Reginald and KX. Reginald came in a little too close with his ulti there. Dyrus did get the fling, did get the glue at the right time, at the right place, but Captain Jack is very tanky, so as a first target, he's hard to kill.
And that's the problem with every single member of Azubu. Captain Jack, tanky. Reaper, tanky. Helios, tanky. Ambition, tanky. They do not have the burst damage available to really blow somebody up. Reginald, when he eventually completes the Lichbane, for example, gold card, wild cards, auto attack, in conjunction with a fling and a crit from Chaos when he eventually gets an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer, that may actually be enough to pick off one of the champions. But they're a long way away from having those items, and I don't know if they're going to be able to survive for long enough to be in a position where they have the items and the damage to actually win those team fights.
Dyrus is pretty deep at the moment. It hasn't got teleport available, but could get back if needed. He's trying to take those golems out. Meanwhile, Azubu setting up a big presence is the word I'm after, and I will pick up the dragon. I don't think TSM are going to be able to engage on this one. This will be the third dragon, if memory serves correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be the third one. Is it second or third? It is the third dragon.
It'll be the third one, yeah.
Azubu have picked up completely uncontested.
Yeah, correct, because, 3,000 gold in their favor every time the Dragon's gone down, with the exception of this time round. TSM have actually been pushing a lane or been pushing a tower. That very first Drake, they managed to convert into the first tower kill of the game. But, 10 to 10 in terms of kills, 4 to 1 in terms of towers. Azubu are moving around the map, and they're very, very mobile, which is very strange when you consider Twisted Fates, Ashe, Singed with Teleport, and Nocturne, In theory, it shouldn't be possible. In theory, TSM should have the mobility and should be able to make the plays happen. But with every single composition, every single champion that's selected, Azubu go, we know what counters that. We know how we can play against that. And they appear to have shut Team Solo Mid down fairly effectively in the first 25 minutes of this game.
Yeah, and Captain Jack continues his farm. Dyrus down the bottom. He's got Reaper on him. The question is, how will they stack up? I don't think Reaper really wants to get too involved in that one, and nor does Dyrus. And Dyrus actually using his ultimate to get away, though.
Highest CS in the game as well, actually. After considering they were behind. 2v1 lane, started off very, very slowly. Dyrus is using that teleport to farm out the lanes, and he's actually now got the highest CS counts available.
He spent a lot of time in that top lane, of course, during the fights. But this time, Chaos is not as far behind. He is still 20 CS behind Captain Jack. Captain Jack, obviously, very much a different AD to the what we saw in the first game. And he's more in a tanky presence. But he is someone they're targeting. Yet 7-1-2 Maokai continues to pick up the kills, doesn't he? KX continues his farm session. TSM Special wants to get in. He wants to get some ward placement in there. You can see he's got 2 wards on him. It's Baron that they're going to be thinking about. But I don't think that's what Azubu were thinking about.
No.
I think Azubu are just thinking, we're going to continue shoving those lanes.
Azubu will almost never go for Baron. I stand to be corrected, but I'm fairly confident.
Generally after a big, strong fight, they'll just say, okay, we've got the advantage.
They won't actually go, like now, if you were watching 2 Western teams playing 2 American teams, 2 European teams, Azubu or whoever would be on the red team would start pushing Baron. They've got very good ward control. They know they've got a lead. They know they've got an advantage. The flip side, though, if they do start a Baron, Destiny, Crystal Arrow, Paranoia, they can close the gap very, very quickly. But take a look at this. They see that Dyrus is available in that bottom lane. So Azubu move forward. We do see the Flash, Rune Prison, Overload, as well as the Spell Flux is going to knock everybody up. A brilliant Pulverize knocks 2 members of TSM up into the air, holds them in place. 3 quick kills for TSM. The odd one is going to be trying to escape now that Dyrus is caught in that Rune Prison. This is going to be an ace for Azubu. They're going to shut down all 5 members of Team Solo Mid, pick up this interior turret. It is an ace for 1, though. Finally, they pick up 1 kill. Once this tower goes down, I anticipate they're going to push the next tower as well. They may decide to fall back for the Baron, but that is not what Azubu do. Azubu play for towers, and look at the bodies of Team Solo Mid. North America, your votes may be proved wrong, unfortunately.
Again.
Yeah, TSM 15-11 down. They've got an exposed inhibitor. Azubu can pick this Baron up if they want to. Instead, they are going to recall and exactly like that. Play it very, very safe. All of that from a flash Rune Prison coming out of Ambition.
Yeah, very, very strong play from Azubu players, and that was just, say 2 towers, bang. A lot of teams can learn from this. Everybody should be studying the hell out of Azubu players right now, because every time they get an advantage, Twisted Fate actually going in for this one. Reginald using his ulti to try and get around there, but they need to use that arrow at the right point. They haven't got it available at the moment, and they can't get the stun card. Oh, Reaper, you troll. He stands and laughs at them. It's very
cannot blame them at all. The use of that Destiny as well, I feel that was under the assumption that Azubu were going to do Baron. Of course, it is going to give vision on all of the opponents. It's going to let you see exactly where every single member of Azubu are located around the map. And if it were a North American side, it would have been Baron. So it was a smart call, smart play. Unfortunately, they couldn't convert it into a kill. But take a look at that. Janice still has not finished her boots. Admittedly, her passive is going to give her a movement speed buff for the rest of the team, so that's going to help out quite a lot. Urgot has finished his Guardian's Angel. Take a look at Maokai. 8-1-6. Of his team's 15 kills, he's secured 8 of them, assisted in 6 of them, and he's currently sitting with that Soul Shroud. Cooldown reduction, mana regen, you look at all of the champions, Blade Surge, Equilibrium Strike, Heat and Style, all of those abilities, the additional cooldown is just going to play into their favor. And Azubu, a 2-0 grand final.
Well, and the main thing, we've got 2 Guardian Angels now. We've got Urgot and Aurelia with Guardian Angels. This is going to be very, very hard to come back from TSM, because Azubu have got such a strong presence in them fights. The 2 targets they've been going for, and interestingly enough, Reaper went for the Frozen Mallet instead of Trinity Force, which a lot of the European players would go for. It's just going to be so hard in a fight to just do anything. There's the Ash Arrow. It actually went on towards Ambition. Teleport coming in. Dyrus is going to try and join it. Actually, Teleport is coming in. It's Reaper that's coming in down there as well. There's Reaper. Jumps on him. They are going to take Ambition down. And there's actually Helios sticking down very low as well. TSM could come out with something from this fight. There's the Monsoon. Lost Boy surely going to get dropped down. So that's a 2 for nothing so far from TSM. They have to take more from this, though. Can they take the Baron from it? They can't because their lanes are shoved. So they've not really got anything. They can't rotate around. They're not really picked up a big enough advantage. Helios is low, but they are going to go for it. Look, you can see them heading that way. Reginald's going to try and keep them at bay. And yet, Ambition, Azubu, sorry, I think they know what's happening. They know they're going for Baron. They're going to see them passing by and say, yeah, fine, we are happy to pick up a turret off the back of this, and maybe 2. Meanwhile, you can see TSM going for that Baron. They should get it down before Azubu can respond, but honestly...
Unbelievable play from Azubu. You know, they lose the team fight, they lose 2 players. Dyrus, the odd one, and Chaos tanking this Baron buff as best as they can, and Dyrus actually going very, very low. He needs to be careful on his way out. They will get this Baron down very, very shortly. So that's going to help them out. Now, the gold difference is about 6,000 gold. They are 6 turrets behind. Captain Jack's going to close up this Dragon now as well for yet another Drake on their side. But that 7,000 gold advantage for the next 4 or so minutes is going to be evened out. The stats in the region that is going to be giving members of Team Solar Mid is going to close out the stat differences that are in play, at least in terms of some of the items. But the thing that's going to be so difficult for them to overcome, Frozen Heart, Double Guardian's Angel, Aegis of the Legion, Soul Shroud, all of that, you know, AoE, all of that team aura, aura rather than AoE is going to be pushing Azubu even further ahead. In, you know, conjunction on their side of the coin, there's a Randian's Omen and an Aegis of the Legion. You know, there's no other team buff, team utility type of items coming out. So it's good that they have Baron buff, but if they do not make use of it and win 1 or 2 more team fights during the duration, they're still a little bit too far behind.
Yeah, and I think they may well try and push mid. They need to really get involved. And it's going to be such a hard fight for them to win against a double GA team. It is a very big ask. They've got their Randian's Omen, so the odd one built very tanky, but again, they're having to back off. They cannot fight an open battle, I don't think. You know, the fight they just had was simply initiated on the turret. They had multiple stuns, and they caught them out in a 3-on-2 situation at the side, and then it eventually turned into a 5-on-3. So they did have that big advantage, but Azubu Blaze, you know, they're happy to just fight them in open ground. They're just going to push all the lanes. They're not going to try and engage on a turret. That would be a little bit foolish of them against the Baron up team, but they do have this open inhibitor in this top lane, which is where they are headed to. So Azubu are quite happy still in a 5-on-5 against the Baron up team. They feel still confident. Glue goes down. Dyrus is going to go in. Here we go. The ultimate comes out. There's the Howling Gale going across. Reaper seems to be the target. Helios got hit by the arrow there. Not exactly the target they want to go for. There's the pulverize. X-Special is going to get dropped very quickly. Monsoon launches him. Reaper is going to get his Guardian Angel's drop. Helios is going to target it as well, but Reginald gets dropped, and there's Chaos just about hanging on in there, but Captain Jack keeping him at bay, uses that exhaust. Captain Jack surely gets feared away. Guardian Angel's propped as well now. That will go back off, but can they manage to take down Captain Jack? Azubu are just slowly getting picked off this one. Chaos now is going to go back in towards this, but Reaper has backed away. Actually, no, yes, he has. Reaper has backed away with no health at all. There he is, stacked under his Helios. So Azubu just about losing out in a fight, in an open fight against the bound up TSM team.
That fight went phenomenally well for TSM.
Oh, Dyrus is going to catch on towards Lost Boy.
Mega adhesive into Fling. Lost Boy has already used an Unbreakable Will, so another kill goes the way of TSM. They might be able to shove this interior turret down, but think about that. Technically speaking, it came out 2 versus 2, but it was in fact 2 versus 4, because they popped the GA of Reaper, they popped the GA of Captain Jack, and Chaos has that IE completed and that Zeal. I think with the gold that he's picked up from that previous fight, he's about 400 away from finishing off his Phantom Dancer. If he can kite and move around a little bit, it's gonna play into his favor. And look at the amount of magic resist on the side of TSM. Quicksilver Sash on both Ashe and on Singed. Negatron Cloaks sitting in Dyrus' hands as well as the odd one.
All the arrows available. Reaper's going to show himself down here. They could catch him out here, Chaos. He has the arrow. He has to land the perfect arrow here. He hasn't got the Guardian Angels available anymore. There we go. The volley goes across. There's the glue. Can he just use the arrow? He doesn't need to use the arrow.
Wow.
Saves it in his pocket and picks up another kill. That's Azubu making mistakes here. 17-7. The rest of TSM are going to close in. There's the arrow on towards Captain Jack. Reginald's going to come in. The fling comes out. Captain Jack is going to go down on the turret. They can pick up the turret as well. And TSM have turned things from a push fight in their own base with that Baron really in their favor. Can they pull this one back? It is possible.
I owe TSM a public apology. I wrote them off.
Oh,
Gold
the
card
stun on
lag.
Ambition.
Ambition's going to get flinged backwards. Look at that. Chaos just says, thank you very much. I will take yet another kill. I will deal the damage. He's been tanking the tower for too long, though. He's going to get shut down from Alistair. Compliments of the headbutt pulverized combo. They are going to take the tower. They should get this inhibitor as well. 22 seconds on Jack, 15 on Reapid, and 40 seconds on Ambition. Huge, huge plays coming out of Team Solo mid. I had written them off. I thought Azubu were going to close it out. But what a phenomenal play. That Baron buff, the statistics that it gave them, the regen that it helped them in that fight, on their own inhibitor, that is what turned this game around. That is what closed out that 6,000 gold advantage. Now that there's only 2k in it, the inhibitor down, the fact that the Baron, the inhibitor was taken out at the end of that Baron buff means when the next Baron respawns, the inhibitor is still going to be down for about 30 seconds to a minute and a half in and around that time frame. Massive, massive play from TSM. I want them to win this. I want to see a game number 3.
We always want to see a game number 3, and this is a great, great comeback from Team Solo Mid here. Can they pull themselves back into it? You know, Reginald's got the build items now. He does the damage. He got to Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, and Quicksilver Sash now on Ash. Here comes Azubu. They've got to be careful they don't get caught out there. They stood on a ward, and Reaper was there. They showed themselves. They did pick up that blue buff quickly and back away. More importantly, that blue buff did go to Reginald as well, so that's going to keep the cooldown on. The mana, not so much a big important thing now. It's all about the cooldown. And Dyrus, with that glue, has been landing it so, so well and getting that flip on the right people, continuing to spam laugh as well, you may notice, which is something he often does when playing on towards Singe. And I'm just trying to see whether Reaper's going to get caught out of position here. So TSM are going to continue pushing in mid. Can they catch someone out? They're a little bit spread. The arrow's going to come across. The arrow lands on Helios. There goes the glue. They come straight around. Dyrus actually was Ambition they went for. It's immediately Monsoon comes down. Ambition's the one they continue to die for. They want to take Rise out of this fight quickly. Chaos, though, is in a bad position. He's going to get dropped really quickly. Ambition is still in the fight. Helios now twisting advance towards Reginald. Reginald taken out of the fight as well. This is turning in Azubu's favor once again. TSM are desperately got lacking damage in this fight now. Helios is going to dive towards Dyrus. Dyrus is trying to keep them in there. The odd one gets headbutted back into the fight. Lust Boy does manage to keep him down, but Dyrus is going to go down to Azubu. And again, from an advantageous position that TSM had, Azubu quickly throw it back in their face.
I definitely think that was poor decision making. They thought they could blow Ambition up quickly enough, but Chaos was too far behind. You've seen how long that Crystal Arrow traveled from. He was easily, half of the lane between the river and the grass away from actually getting into that fight. It was just too quick. The initiation, the dive, they couldn't get Chaos into a position where he could take Ambition out, and you've seen how quickly he got melted. As soon as the members of Azubu turned their attention to him, they bursted through that Quicksilver Sash, they bursted through the limited hit points that he has, and this means we have effectively a mirror, but the super minions pick up the Nexus turret. So that means there's only one Nexus turret on the side of Azubu. Game number 1 of TSM Azubu on Friday morning.
They're going towards Lost Boy. Lost Boy has been visioned, and he's going to go down here. The ultimate is not going to save him. The Oracle is going to drop. Can they catch on towards anyone else? The arrow is available. As soon as they get vision, are they going to go for, or are they going to go for Baron? Baron just spawned, and well, this is on now. TSM, this is a very, very close game.
Take a look at the teleport coming up. They don't know that Dyrus has just teleported in. Mega adhesive glue goes down. Captain Jack eats a crystal arrow to the face. They do need to burn through the Guardian Angel of both Jack and Reaper. Can the pirate come back? Jack Sparrow has respawned. Minimal hit points though. They've turned their attention to Chaos. Reaper and Helios have destroyed Chaos, completely removed him from the battle. But now that Captain Jack is done, equivalently AD carry for AD carry have been removed from the battle. Without Chaos though, there simply isn't enough damage. The Odd One and Dyrus are doing an admirable job of staying alive. Randian's Omen comes out. That's going to slow the movement speed, but now the Odd One has been removed. Dyrus has got a large mana pool and a decent amount of hit points, but he's not going to get away from 3 members of Azubu. Once again, slightly poor decision making.